Hey, schmack-a-ma-gob, it's time for another thrilling, killer, awesome, greatest episode from the greatest podcast ever, the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast. I am Ralph, and with me is...
Oh yeah, did it come across? No.
I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to get down. I'm gonna have to edit a beer crack in the beginning of these episodes.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know, man. It's this Zoom shit, man. It's evil. It doesn't want to let it wants people to stop drinking.
Well, fuck that. I'm Wadzilla.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be like me. Don't be like me, kids. Keep drinking.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, we're here. It's another thrilling audio and video.
Yep.
One thing I noticed, Ian, on the I haven't looked in the past couple of days, but I noticed the Podbean had more views than our videos.
Oh yeah. Which I'm surprised and not surprised. I think people are just so used to getting on Podbean, and people have their different, the way you set shit up, you can have it to where if you follow this show, it automatically downloads it and shit like that. And the YouTube channel just it isn't, as big as like your channel.
It isn't updated enough.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna bring the views here.
We're gonna work on that. I did get some good feedback though, because there's people that love being able to watch us now, which I don't get, but they like having the options. And I was very happy, the numbers with both of them, I thought were pretty respectable. So I'm happy with that. I hope people are enjoying it. Leave some more comments. Everybody get on that YouTube page, Rock and Metal Combat Podcast. Hit subscribe, change your notifications to all. And we were hoping this week to start the Patreon. And I told people earlier in the week, I was like, hey, be on the Facebook page this week, find out how to do the Patreon. And then two problems. One, Patreon's being a pain in the ass. And two, I'm banned from posting in groups right now. So hopefully the day after we record this, I think I can post in groups again. Facebook, man. God, fucking Facebook. Every time I try to come back, something happens, and pisses me off and makes me wish I didn't know what it was. But it's a necessary tool, to get to the audience. But hopefully I have the Patreon shit. I know I always promise shit and it never comes through or not in the time frame, but I have actually been working on it. But there's been an issue with being able to link our Facebook page to it and this YouTube channel, which there's complications because the Patreon's in my name, but the YouTube is in Ralph's name, and trying to straighten all this shit out. And this shit's above our pay grade, man.
Oh no, Ian. I gave you the password in the email so you can run the YouTube page. Anyway,
I'm still having issues.
I don't have to, all I do is upload a video, but you work on that because you got all the information to make it your page.
Yeah, I'm trying, and it's not my forte. I'm good at telling dick jokes and shit, and making you people laugh. But I mean, if it's not downloading porn or music, I don't know how to do this shit on this fucking computer. And I'm kind of interested in if we have, like an Uber fan who is like really good at shit like that. I would be willing to, like, okay, give you a free membership to the Patreon and stuff like that. The problem is when you offer something like that, you get 30 motherfuckers. Oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. And you know about as much as us, which is, we don't know fuck about shit. I mean, that's how we got who on this show, because we thought he would do all the technical shit.
Exactly.
But at time of hearing this, if there's somebody, and please just, I'm asking you as a friend and your hero, one of your heroes, along with Ralph first. If you guys are really good at this kind of shit, and like linking everything to, that would be interested in running like an Instagram page, all the shit that the fucking millennials are into now. to get this shit out and to get it to where everything works properly. If there's somebody out there that has the time and the interest and most importantly, the talent to do it, reach out to me on Facebook, because I would love to like hand this off to somebody, but it would have to be somebody like, what you're doing, somebody we can trust, because you would be kind of like an administrator on shit too. So I'm not going to give just to anybody because you're a super fan of the show.
We only want somebody that can hook up our Patreon. Lickety split. Split. Not a day or two. Right there. Bam. All right, you're already on, Ian.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Because there's a lot of cool things we want to do, but fuck. It took me a month to get us on fucking iTunes, and I had to create a whole nother email that I can't delete now, that I have to keep because that's what's locked into our iTunes. And if I was to change it, I would have to redo it. We would lose all the views and the kind of shit. Like when we do reach out to people for an interview, they have to see those numbers to say like, yeah, okay, we'll talk to you. Because we've had ones that turned us down in the past because of the fucking numbers. But now we got the numbers. It's the same thing with Podbean. There's other avenues I would like to do other than Podbean. But we're almost at 1 million downloads on Podbean. And that looks attractive to people that we would like to ask to come on the show. And if we were to start all over, they'd look at us like, what is this, the BS sessions? Yeah.
Yeah, what is this, freeform?
So it's like on the technical aspect of these shows, sometimes you get locked into shit that you wish you weren't. But if you're kind of computer ignorant and shit like that, man, shit like this happens. But we really got some good shit down the pike as soon as we can figure it out that I think people will be interested in. And again, we're going to be charging a very small fee for, I think you get a lot. And I did research compared to what other people charge for their Patreons and what they do. And I don't feel like we'd be ripping anybody off or breaking the bank, but something that helps us and gives you guys something extra. So hopefully soon. Just know that I am working on it, but I'm retarded.
Give me your money. Give me your money.
All right. Well, we recorded this today instead of yesterday because you went to a concert. What'd you go to?
I went to go see Yngwie J. Malmsteen, not Yngwie M., but Yngwie J. Malmsteen, and Glenn Hughes, and some opening band. I don't remember their name, but they were pretty damn good, with a pretty damn good singer. And now, to set it up, I got there really early because my friend Greg, I went with my friend Greg, and he wanted to beat traffic. So we ended up going up there early, eating up there, and then who shows up?
What venue was this?
It was called the Parker's Playhouse. Holds about 1,100 people. It's kind of a nice venue. It's really made for plays and stuff. I saw Cheap Trick there. I saw a couple shows there in the past, but not a lot of shows play there. It's more like plays, and I saw Graham Nash was going to play there from Crosby, Stills and Nash.
Yeah.
And, stuff like that. It's not really a venue I go to much, but when I got there early, who do I see? Dave the Beast Spitz and my friend David.
Nice.
Now, Dave the Beast was in 7 Star Black Sabbath, So, he was in a band with Glenn Hughes. So my friend David Lovett, hooked it up where they got, passes to meet Glenn Hughes. And, they went in there and he showed me the video. Like Glenn Hughes was really surprised to see Beast, because you haven't seen each other in fucking many, 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 many decades. Anyway, that was cool. I saw my friend Yai, my friend for 15 years. I saw Ruben De La Rosa.
I love that guy.
Yeah, and he went with his wife. And I saw many, 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 many people that I knew. My friend Jay, who has fully transitioned into a woman and was really weird about this. I guess it's not weird because I'm not so fluent on transsexuals, even though I bragged that I wanted to bang one, but I got over that. My friend Jay totally transitioned into a chick, right?
Yeah.
Yesterday, I saw him with a girlfriend. I don't know. I had no idea transsexuals had girlfriends. I think they'd get a boyfriend. I don't know. But anyway, his girlfriend was nice. It was good meeting them. I like Jay because Jay's very, the very ironic part of Jay was he was in a band called Comantra. And he was a little kid. He was like 13, 12 years old. And he sang just like Glenn Hughes. And when I saw him yesterday, I was like, dude, it's amazing. We're going to about to see Glenn Hughes. And you sounded like Glenn Hughes when you were a little kid, Anyway, so Glenn Hughes comes out and he does nothing but Deep Purple songs that he was involved. He opened with Stormbringer. He did Might Just Take Your Life, Keep Me Moving, Mistreated. God, what was the one he did from Come and Taste the Band? Is it Keep On Moving, Keep Me Moving? Is that
yeah, that's from that. A lot of times he does Ode to G live too. I don't know if that's the one.
That. But it was awesome. The guy is a freak of nature. His voice, people make excuses for Paul Stanley and shit. Go watch Glenn Hughes. Go watch Robin Zander. Go watch Steven Tyler. Those guys still got it. And man, Glenn Hughes was just unbelievably good. And he promised on stage he's coming back in February. It's supposed to be bad. I don't know if it's going to be Black Communion or
probably
or solo, but he said he's coming back in February. And he was great. He was awesome. Played a great.
How was the band?
The band was tight, awesome. The guitar player ruled. Drummer was good. He played bass. They had a keyboard player. They're amazing. And then Yngwie J. Malmsteen. Now, here's the thing about Yngwie. I've seen Yngwie, I don't know, maybe 30 times because the guy lives down here. So I stopped going to see Yngwie. Now, not because I'm tired of seeing him live. I love Yngwie live. He's awesome. But, I've seen him so many times. It's kind of like, But, this time he's coming with Glenn Hughes. So, of course, I stuck around to see Yngwie. And, hey, if you either get it or you don't. There's a lot of guitar players there. I love seeing Yngwie. I love seeing him do, and he does it every single show. Far From the Sun, Too Far From the, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Such a great instrumental. He did Evil Eye. He did You Don't Remember, I'll Never Forget. But they had the worst fucking t-shirt for sale for Yngwie. It looked like a little kid drew the Trilogy album cover. It was hokey looking. It was bad. And he had two shirts, that and this other shirt that I would never wear. It's a shirt, you've probably seen it before because he's been selling it for years. It says Yngwie Who, and then on the back it says Yngwie fucking Malmsteen. I would never wear a shirt like that,
Yeah. I would wear one if it said, I don't eat fucking donuts.
Yeah. But he was great.
That's Trilogy. Trilogy's my favorite album cover, so I would love a good Trilogy shirt, but you say it looked fucking terrible, huh?
It wasn't a good looking shirt. It was horrible. It looked like a 10-year-old drew it.
And of course, nowadays when you see Yngwie, he's the singer as well.
Yeah, the thing about Yngwie, boy, he doesn't have a bad voice. I mean, I don't think anybody can say Yngwie's got a bad voice. The problem is when you have people like Jeff Scott Soto and Ripper and Mark Bowles, I mean, those are amazing singers. Yngwie's just a good singer. He's okay. And I don't mind it when he sings like, what was the song he sang? Oh, Now Your Ships Are Burned. He sang that one. And it wasn't that bad because Jeff Scott Soto did sing it in a lower register. It was all right. And yeah, my drummer's no longer with him. And my drummer, by the way, yesterday put up a picture on Facebook with Michael Denner in Michael Denner's.
I saw that.
In Michael Denner's record store in Copenhagen.
Yeah, I saw that shit.
How awesome is that, man? That kid's living the dream, man. I'm so proud of him.
Fuck yeah, playing with Night Demon.
Yeah.
Happy for him, man.
Playing all around the world, all these killer festivals. I just saw they're going to be part of a killer metal cruise. Yeah, Unbelievable what Brian is going through now. I mean, that's a road dog.
Do you feel with, now that Yngwie's singing as well as playing, do you notice does his playing suffer at all? Because I know sometimes, some people can sing and play at the same time and some people can't, and I was wondering, do you think it like suffered at all, or, he was better when he was just focused on the guitar?
Nah, Yngwie's always been the same. The thing about Yngwie, he's never gotten better or worse. He's been the same since the Steeler days. His playing never diminished. But I can't say he's gotten better either. He's only, but I mean, Yngwie's a game changer. I mean, he's one of those guitar players. Maybe, when people talk about Eddie Van Halen and Hendrix. But dude, you got to throw in Yngwie for what he did to '80s guitar. I mean, everybody was freaking out over Yngwie Malmsteen, especially in the early days.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's always had respect. I mean, I can only take so much of it, though. A lot of that classical shit that I don't like, but the shit that I like. Did he do Heaven Tonight?
No.
I like that shit, that gay ass shit.
Yeah, I was happy he didn't do that.
But let's get back to your friend Jay. Did Jay get mad that you kept calling him dude? And did he change his name to Y?
His name was Jason, actually. What's funny is that, I don't know if you saw it, but they finally released the animated video of Thrasher Dies No Pose Allowed.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's finally been done. And the beginning of it's an animated video, but the beginning of the video is Jay, but Jason when he was a little kid, trying to draw and throwing away paper. And it's like,
oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's like, this is like 10 years old, But finally the video came out and it's amazing.
I got to see that shit.
Yeah, it's really good. And
awesome.
Yeah, so it was a great show. I was glad I went. They just announced Raven is coming with Vicious Rumors.
Nice.
I'm going to see George Lynch. And George Lynch is my next show.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just him by himself?
Yeah.
I mean, is it Lynch Mob or like just George Lynch?
They just announced it as George Lynch, and I'm like, weren't we discussing this not too long ago? Like, drop the fucking Lynch Mob, just go out as George Lynch, because your name is more popular than a Lynch Mob. Well, I guess he listened to us because he's coming down as George Lynch, so I'm definitely going to that. Satan's coming, another band I love.
Well, the thing I'm wondering about with George Lynch is he does have a new solo album coming out, like an instrumental. It's not Lynch Mob.
Lynch?
It's going to be like, like Sacred Groove and shit like that. It's just being released under that. So that's what I was curious if that's what you're seeing. I mean, I'm sure he's going to play a mixture of shit because that's what people want to see.
Man, I haven't seen George Lynch in decades.
Man, I've never seen him. Never fucking seen George Lynch. Now I'll have to go to one of these horrible docking shows to see him.
I saw Lynch Mob, I think it was like 2001. That's the last time I saw George Lynch.
Was Oni with him at the time or somebody else?
I don't think Oni was there, but I could be wrong.
2001, is that when he was doing the fucking Limp Bizkit shit? No, that was probably later.
He didn't do it that night,
Yeah.
But it wasn't good. George Lynch is very hit and miss with me. There's times I see him where he's just phenomenal, and then other times he's like, it's not as good as like how he could be. So I'm hoping I'm not disappointed with the next show.
Well, we got some George Lynch and some Doc and stuff to talk about when we get into the news. So let's do that.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's see. What do we got going on here? Glenn Hughes, who you just saw, says he hopes David Coverdale can resume Whitesnake's farewell tour. Says, I only wish him the best. And I don't know. The longer that goes, I don't think we're going to see that. What do you think?
Yeah, man. There were 2 times I was supposed to see Whitesnake, and both times it got canceled. Opening for Priest, and I can't remember the other band he was opening for where they canceled both shows. So, yeah, it's kind of like been a prick tease, to see Whitesnake. But, I mean, Whitesnake I'd go see because now he's got a singer up on stage to sing the stuff he can't do anymore. So you
Right.
still get live vocals on stage. You know?
Right.
I would like that.
Yeah, I mean, I would go, but I mean, the longer it goes on, you know, the harder it's going to be for him. Where I'm kind of okay, just call it a day. I mean, it sucks it ended like that, but with his health shit and then the COVID delays and shit like that, I don't see anything wrong with these people just bowing out. You know, if you
Yeah,
can't bring it, don't.
I'm not the biggest Whitesnake guy. Yeah, I love the John Sykes stuff and I like the live album in the Heart of the City, but I wasn't really I did see them. I saw them with Vivian Campbell on the Whitesnake tour with Great White.
Yeah,
Then I saw the one with Steve Vai.
yeah, I
And the
saw
one with
that.
Steve Vai, it was like, dude, one of the greatest vocal performances I ever saw in my life was that Steve Vai show. David Coverdale
That was a good one.
on fire. His vocals were top notch that night. And
Yeah, no, I like that show. The only thing I didn't like was the set list. Too much from Slip of the Tongue, and that was a pretty shitty album.
yeah, it was. But I don't think I've ever seen Whitesnake after that. I think I've only seen him twice.
I saw him in the early 2000s, I think. Yeah, early 2000s. I saw him at House of Blues, and it was a good show. I mean, fun show, but he's just one of those. He's got such a distinctive voice, and if you don't have that, and you got to rely on the background guy to carry it, the heavy load. I'm kind of like, why bother? You know. And then another thing you look at, how long of show are you going to get? The older these people get, they're not doing like a Bruce Springsteen 4 hour show. So you're going to get a condensed show, which is basically going to come down to a greatest hits, setup. And I'm not that greatest hits guys. When bands quit playing deep cuts and adding shit, I lose interest. Just like with this new Aerosmith tour that got postponed. People were getting all excited about like one or two deep cuts, but still, it's like the majority of it, I don't want to hear fucking Pump and fucking, Get a Grip shit and that fucking horrible fucking Armageddon song that you'll never see them not play now.
And I'm the opposite. I like that they're doing this set list because tickets are too expensive and I don't want to pay for that shit and I don't want to go. So yeah. Don't make it a great set list because I don't want to pay that crazy money.
Well, one thing I will give them at the 3 shows they did do, there was some interchanging, of some deep cuts. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, do you pay that kind of money to take a chance that the night you go is going to be, the night they play your favorite cut, or do you get stuck with a horrible one? That's the thing I look at with this Metallica tour going on now. And yeah, I think it's cool, the whole 2 nights and everything. But I just like, oh God, what if by some chance I could only make one night? And some of those set lists are fucking horrible where they're still trying to push the fucking, Saint Anger shit. And I'm like, God damn, they keep throwing trying to just give it up, man. That was an abortion. Nobody wants to hear that fucking shit. But then they mix in all the load and the reload and the Black Album shit I don't want to fucking hear.
That's just their way of saying we're proud of this material.
Yeah, it is. And they know, but I don't know. I should say that they do know nobody wants to hear it. But then again, I think probably a lot of people that go see Metallica nowadays do want to hear that shit. So I'm in the minority because there is a lot of people who love that fucking crap, and they would be pissed off if they went to didn't hear Hero of the Day or even Enter Sandman. I would love to go see a fucking Metallica show where they didn't play Enter Sandman. I'd be like, fucking A, awesome. Never need to hear it again.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the 2 shows he ain't going to hear it.
Right. But I don't know.
Either show you're not going to hear only songs off the first 2 Metallica albums, which I saw.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got the perfect call it. You never need to see them again.
Yeah, I saw the perfect Metallica show.
Yeah, go out with that. That's lucky fucker, man. All right. Well, speaking of beating a dead horse, Wendy Dio says a remix version of Last in Line album is in the works for 2024.
Oh, I thought you were going to give a Sink and Stanley story.
A what? Yeah. Hey, we got to give a shout out to Sink and Stanley and Bill Wang started their own thing.
Yeah.
So, hey, I love them both. Congratulations. Wish you nothing but the best. Wendy Dio. Yeah. Releasing the Last in Line. I'm down for it. I was happy with the Holy Diver remix. As long as you can always get the original, that's my only thing. I don't mind some of these remixes. Some of them are incredible and better the album. Some you're like, it's okay, but I'm going to listen to the fucking original. So as long as there's both, and that's how they did it on the last one. And if they do it with Last in Line, I'm all for it. I mean, any more Dio I can get, I'm happy about it. What did you think of the Holy Diver remix?
I really liked it. And I liked, was it Holy Diver that had an ending to it? It didn't fade out.
Yeah.
Good shit. Yeah. I didn't buy it though, but I plan on buying it eventually.
Yeah.
But is it going to be the same shit or is it just the album Last in Line?
Well, I think it's going to be done the same way they did Holy Diver. You're going to have like a new remaster of the original mix. And then you're going to have the whole album in a remix. And who knows? I mean, they don't have any details yet. There might be some live shows and B-sides and shit like that. Probably a lot of stuff you've heard before. The thing I like about when they do reissues like this, and we talked about this previously, on a lot of these remasters, they do shows that we might have had a bootleg of, but now are like, professionally done and cleaned up. So you hear a much better sounding. I love when that happened with Sabbath, stuff that I had crappy bootlegs of, and now here, sounds so much better because you have the original soundboard, or, there's some production magic on there that really enhance it. So I'm all for that.
Get a Blu-ray of Special from the Spectrum. I thought that was the best.
Yeah, that was
better than Sacred Heart. That Last in Line.
Oh yeah.
The set list, it was just awesome.
Oh yeah, give me original fucking Dio lineup. Fucking Greg Goldie. All right. Well, Dawkins says his relationship with George Lynch. We're too old to argue anymore. I think it's more they're too broke to argue anymore.
Yeah, no shit.
And I hope they are. I hope they do get along. I hate seeing these guys argue because I think they created some fucking great music, and
they sure did in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing that's disappointed, this shit's been going on for years now with the Lynch mob opening up for Dokken, and then Lynch comes out for the same 3 fucking songs every time. And I wish they would at least switch it up, do some different songs. I mean, I love the ones that they do together, Kiss of Death, all this shit, but for the true fans, fucking mix it up a little bit. But did you hear the new single released from the new upcoming Dokken album?
Yeah, I heard 2 songs so far, and
yeah,
I enjoyed them both.
You did?
Yeah. Of course, that's total studio magic.
Oh yeah.
Don cannot sing like that. No, I didn't think it was awesome, but I enjoyed them. They're all right.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it didn't have the magic songwriting wise and guitar playing, which is odd because we both seen Dokken with John
Levin
on guitar, and that guy can do Lynch to a T. He's like Tommy Thayer on that shit. But when it comes to songwriting, I think it's a different beast, and there's people who can play other people's licks all day long, but when it comes to actually writing something, but then again, I mean, at this age, they're both pushing fucking 70. Who knows if he had George Lynch, they'd come up with something that's going to match tooth and nail. And again, even if it was that good, would it be as good to us? It's hard with some of this newer shit. It's I don't know. we're kind of set in our ways, and we have the stuff that we love, and the memories that go with it. And I mean, every once in a while I hear a new song from an artist I like, but it's never like the magic of the old shit, in my opinion. What you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's very rare. There are some bands, some legacy acts that I think release great albums now, but they're very few. I really enjoyed the last Scorpions album. I was listening to that yesterday. That album is so good.
I got to give it another try, man. I just couldn't get into
I
it.
love it. I think it's better than anything they've done after Blackout. Which, by the way, to put another Scorpion story, there's talk of them wanting to do a 60th anniversary show next year.
Wow.
And they recently asked Uli if he would be part of it. He goes, "Yeah, I would love to." That would be awesome, man.
Yeah. I would love to see that.
Yeah,
Even though
yeah.
Uli gave me permanent hearing damage, but I'd still go see him. Oh my God. That shit was, I talked about it after the show, but that shit was painfully loud. It hurt so bad, but the guy is fucking amazing. I'd love to see him up with the Scorpions, particularly just to hear them play that era of Scorpions, which the older I get, the more and more I love the 70s Scorpions. Yeah, it took me a while. It took me a while to get into it.
But
nowadays,
it's always my favorite. Oddly enough, it was Virgin Killer. That was the first one I heard it. I was like, whoa, this is even better than, Animal Magnetism and shit like that. And I loved all that stuff too. But then when I hunted down, the rest of them and Tokyo Tapes.
Yeah.
That to me is the best Scorpions.
Yeah. It's awesome. And it's not as jokey and hokey. I think that's one detriment to 80s Scorpions. I don't know. It's a little bit too. I mean, it's not poison, but some of the shit's just kind of silly. Where I think the 70s shit still sounds like it holds up.
80s Scorpions was awful. After, well, Love at First Sting was okay, but after that, it was just terrible.
Right. Well, here's something I find hilarious. Motley Crue shares "Hotter Than Hell" demo from upcoming 40th anniversary edition of Shout at the Devil. This "Hotter Than Hell" demo, which is a demo for Louder Than Hell, which was on Theater of Pain. They released this on the Motley Crue remasters released 20 years ago. It's not like this is anything new. I mean, this box set does look cool. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the shit that comes with it.
But there's nothing rare on it.
Yeah, there's nothing new. And I think it's funny. Oh, yeah, we're going to share this. Bet you never heard this. Yeah, all of us suckers who went back and bought all those Motley Crue remasters, we already know this shit. And it's not that good. It's horrible. The demo "Hotter Than Hell," it sounds like shit.
I thought the Knock 'Em Dead demo was good. That was like the only demo I liked out of all of them.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like, ugh. I can see why it didn't make, Shout at the Devil. I'm like, yeah, shelve this fucker. And then they were so hard up for Theater of Pain that they're like, well, it's already written,
All those bonus tracks, "Run for Your Life" and shit like that, they're all kind of lame. Well, it ruined Shout at the Devil for me. It's like, stop adding songs. Put a separate disc on there with the bonus shit. Stop adding "I Will Survive" and shit like this at the end of the album. It ruins it for me.
Yeah. I mean, another thing, it's Motley Crue. Think of the horrible songs that make the album. Imagine the shit that's not good enough for a Motley Crue album.
Imagine the songs that weren't good enough for Girls, Girls, Girls.
Oh, my God. Oh. Whew. All right. Well, but I got to say, after I watched that, I watched the trailer again for the box set, and it's like, damn, I'm tempted. Just because I think it's a really cool package and it's neat shit, and I would love to have it like on 180 gram vinyl. I've got an original copy on vinyl. But I would love like a 180 gram of it, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how much it costs. I'm sure it's way too fucking much money. But here's something now. I don't know if you can talk about this. So if you can't, just say, because this is live, and well, we're recording it live
Yeah, well, I'm
anyway.
not editing this shit.
Yeah, you know what I fucking mean. All right, but Ace Frehley has completed mixing 8 songs for next solo album.
I can't
And
talk about it. I can't talk about it.
okay, all right. I am not looking forward to this. And yes, I'm known as the fucking Ace hater, as far as his solo shit, and I think he's pretty shitty as a human being, but yeah, his solo shit, I think is just, ugh. Especially, the later shit. But this new one's being done with Steve Brown from Trickster, and that doesn't give me promise. That doesn't get me excited. It's kind of like when Michael Stipe said, I should produce Van Halen. No, I don't think so. I don't think he probably would have done better than the other producer, but no. I think the problem with Ace is he's so fucking lazy. So fucking lazy. So whoever works with him on the album, you're going to get more of who that person is than who Ace is, and a prime example of that would be, Second Sighting. You got way more Todd Hallward, which I love those songs. Most people hate that shit. I like them. But this is a man who, there's covers on every fucking album because, writing the song is work, and I'm not optimistic for this. But when it comes out, I will listen to it. I will give it a chance. I hope it's good. I'm rooting for Ace. I just expect it to be shit. Do you think this is going to be a good album, Ralph?
Well, having the guy from Trickster work on it doesn't give me hope.
Yeah.
I think Trickster's a joke band. They're jokey. Give it to me good. I mean, they're so bad. It's such a bad, horrible band. And him working with Ace doesn't give me hope that it's going to be any good. And matter of fact, I'm the opposite of you. I love Ace's solo albums. I love Spaceman, Space Invader. I loved all that shit, but I have no hope for this. I was very disappointed with Anomaly, so maybe this will be the next Anomaly. I don't know. I didn't like Second Sighting either. I love Trouble Walking, the first album, Spaceman, Space Invader. I love all those records. Yeah. But no, I will be shocked if the next album will be good. And also sad news, the guy that would hook me up with all those Ace Frehley albums no longer works for that record company. So
oh really?
Yeah, no more
was that E1 Music or something like that?
Yeah, they changed the name to Matriarch, but yeah, he's no longer there. So no more freebies for me.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh well, my Lord and Savior performed Van Halen classics at the Oracle Cloud World 2023 corporate event in Las Vegas. I hate these fucking corporate shows. I really do. They're for the type of fans that I can't stand. But you see more and more, especially legacy bands, doing them. And my only guess is they just must throw out retarded money, to get these guys to do it. Because to me, it's so unrock and roll. But Dave performed with the All-Stars cover band Royal Machines, which includes Chris Chanley from used to be in Jane's Addiction, Billy Morrison from The Cult and Billy Idol, Mark McGrath, Jesus Christ, from Sugar Ray, Dexter Holland, Steve Stevens, Donovan's Kid, Tommy Clitoris, Paul Trudeau, no idea, plays Billy Idol, Shirley Manson from Garbage, and Daryl McDaniels from Run DMC. So yeah, it probably isn't nothing I'd be interested in. I watched a little bit of the clips, and they were just that. They were clips.
Dave wasn't bad. He sang all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. You know what you get with Dave. The thing is, I don't think you can't appreciate it from watching video somebody filmed on their phone. But when you're there and Dave performs, you get caught up in the magic. Even if he's having an off night, there's still a magic in the air. There's still like an aura that, you're around fucking David Lee Roth. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain to somebody who hasn't been there. It just what he brings to the table transcends. His off night would be better than most people's best performance.
Sammy Hagar.
Yeah, yeah. So I like that he's still getting out and doing stuff though. And he's still. I mean, he's wacky, crazy Dave. He puts out all these videos that I'm just like, what the fuck is going on in this guy's head? God bless. I love him, but I don't know. I wish he would either do like some new good music with good musicians or just enjoy life, enjoy retirement. But fuck it. If he's out there having fun, go for it, man. But yeah, it sucks. See, he's playing a corporate gig, but then again, to me, it sucks seeing him open up for Scab Kiss. Even though I thought he did pretty good. But
yeah, he did actually.
I saw out of all the videos I saw, I think I saw one bad show, and the rest I was like, holy shit, he sounds pretty good. But for whatever reasons, I don't know if we'll ever officially get the truth on why that ended. But oh well. Alice Cooper says the only person who should be allowed to use AI in music is Paul McCartney. I'm not sure exactly what he means by that. I didn't read the thing, but I thought it was kind of sad. Did you see now even Alice Cooper is getting canceled? He got dropped from a makeup company that because of comments he made about transgender kids and shit. Did you see that?
Well, the day that they canceled him was the day I saw him with Rob Zombie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was on that same day.
Now, I would guess he probably didn't speak about it on stage, though, huh?
No, because Alice plays a character.
Yeah.
He's not human on stage. So
yeah.
No, he did not discuss it at all. I watched an Alice Cooper interview the other day, and I got to say this, man. I love Alice Cooper. In no way am I bad mouthing him, but I guess I am by saying he gives horrible interviews. His interviews suck, and then when he tries to be funny, and his lathering of Johnny Depp's ass has got to stop. Like he talks about Johnny Depp like he's the next Hendrix, like he's such a great guitar. Johnny Depp doesn't do anything. Johnny Depp looks like a really nice guy. Don't get me wrong, but he's no fucking. Dude, Joe Perry even shows him up.
Yeah.
So, and Alice Cooper lies a lot. He even lied to me. When I showed him when I had him sign my killer, I have the original killer with the calendar.
Yeah.
And the calendar has him hanging, and he told me, you see that picture? It was hanging at the White House during the Nixon administration. And I was like, yeah, in my brain, I'm not going to disrespect Alice, but I was like, get the fuck out of here. Why the fuck would Nixon hang that in the White House? You know what I mean? And he talks all this shit about Hendrix and Morrison. And it just sounds so far-fetched, everything he says. And it goes back to what he said Frank Zappa told him. Was when he played that Toronto thing and he threw the chickens out. And the people tore it to pieces. They blamed Alice for killing chickens on stage.
Yeah.
When Frank called them about it, Alice said, no, I didn't kill no chicken. He goes, don't say anything.
Yeah.
Keep that lie, because lie. So I think Alice has just carried that tradition of lying over and over again on which is sad. I mean, Alice, you look at his history photographically, my God, drinking a beer with Colonel Sanders, hanging out with Groucho Marx and Bing Crosby.
Yeah, Salvador Dali.
Yeah, shit, Salvador Dali, Vincent Price. I mean, the guy hung out. I just recently saw a picture of him and Keith Moon. They're both on their cars, all drunk and shit.
Yeah,
and, John Lennon. John Lennon, so on. I mean, he's hung out with legends, man, but I think he just likes to make stories up. And there's not very interesting the stories he tells, but whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was disappointed in Super Duper Alice Cooper.
Yeah, me too.
The documentary, man, because I was really hoping for some more insightful shit. And, at least he finally admitted like the drug shit, that he denied for years. But yeah, it could have been so much more. But then again, that shit's probably, just like concert set lists, they're made for the casual people. They're not made for motherfuckers like you and me, Yeah, I'm hard pressed to find a documentary on somebody that I'm not disappointed in, because 9 times out of 10, 90% of it I already know, and I always want to learn more. But you think that's boring? Um, I can't imagine this. Rush's Geddy Lee announces a UK spoken word tour for December 2023.
That's crazy.
Now, I love Geddy Lee. I love Geddy Lee. I love Rush. What's his spoken word tour going to be? Oh, yeah, we were on tour. We played a bunch of really complicated songs, and then I went to the hotel and went to sleep. I don't think there's a lot of dirt in Geddy Lee's life.
Well, that's
what I mean?
Even Gene Simmons said it when they were on tour with Rush. Rush would go straight into the room and watch TV while they were banging groupies.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want nothing to do with that.
And I mean, that's fine. I mean, they put out incredible music, but I don't know. I don't know what kind of insights you're gonna get. Yeah. But hey, fuck it. Have fun. Cannibal Corpse released a music video for Chaos Horrific, the title track to the new album.
I'm gonna fill my glass. Keep talking.
All right.
No editing.
Yeah, I checked it out. I got the new album. Well, downloaded it. It's fucking Cannibal Corpse, man, and they're coming back again. I think since I've moved to Seattle, and I'm Seattle adjacent. I've been here, it'll be a year in October. And I think they've been here like 3 fucking times. And I'm going to miss them again because they're playing on a fucking school night and my son can't make it. And I'm not going to see him alone. I would go to see him, with my son, because he digs it. I don't mind him, but, I wouldn't go out of my way to see it. But
well, I haven't heard the new Cannibal Corpse, but yeah. I do have to take a piss, but I'll be able to hear you. So go to the next story.
All right. Next story. Oh, boy, did this break my heart, but it was about what I expected. Last in Line, which is, it started out being, the original Dio band just without Dio. But then since the passing of Jimmy Bain, they got Phil Susausen or Susudio. I don't know what the fuck. The dude who played with Ozzy during fucking Ultimate Sin. So they got him and Andrew Friedman on vocals. And, I was digging it when they're doing the Dio shit because, I want to hear those songs, But now they're doing, their original shit. They're on their 3rd album, Jericho, which I think I probably downloaded and never listened to. But they shared a new music video for a song called Not Today, Satan. And oh my God, was it? I don't know. To me, it was just a miss on everything. First of all, the video is fucking horrible. The song is nothing to write home about, but like the drumming, I don't know. It's just not the hard hitting shit I'm used to from Vinny. The riff from Vivian is nothing that, even holds a candle to what he did on those first 3 Dio albums. I mean, I guess most importantly, it didn't have that sound. I mean, if you're basing it on, this is the band, well, you don't have Jimmy Bain, and of course Dio. But you know what I mean? I was hoping it would be songs in that vein and that style of traditional heavy metal. And to me, it just sounded like some modern shit. And it just kind of sounded like old guys playing, which I know it seems terrible to say. But it just, I don't know, it just didn't have an energy to it. And I hate that when I get disappointed with new music. It's like, these people you love, you want to see it, you want to hear them do something good, and then you're just like, nope.
I haven't heard it.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty.
I really liked that first album. The second I was very disappointed in, and I never really looked into this new one.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Oh God. Now this is fucking horrible. Leonard Skinner's Johnny Van Zant doesn't rule out a new studio album. Talk about give it fucking up. Give it fucking up. They shouldn't even be touring as Leonard Skinner. I'm sorry. I know everybody's got a fucking, rent to pay and shit like that, but fuck me. Have some dignity. Let this band die. They've been dying since 1970s fucking 7,
Yeah.
Fucking A. Leonard Skinner is such a dead horse. Fucking Sinking Stanley won't beat it. You've got nobody left. Nobody left. This is Foreigner for people with GEDs. It's, oh my God. Calling this shit Leonard Skinner. Fucking horrible.
Calling it Leonard Skinner after the plane crash was horrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'll even give, like the 87 tour and stuff. They still had enough people.
Well, I saw it. That was the only time I ever saw Leonard Skinner. Being this huge Leonard Skinner fan I am, I only went to what was considered a tribute. It wasn't the reformation of Leonard Skinner.
Right.
It was just supposed to be a tour, one and done. And and I loved it. But, when it came back after it wasn't a one and done, I would not go see Leonard Skinner. It was like, I saw it. I also saw Roston Collins Band.
Yeah.
Which had just as many members of Leonard Skinner in it. And they played Freebird. Yeah, Billy Powell on piano, Leon Wilkinson on bass, Roston and Collins. That's the same amount that was in the reunion. I think, the first one had Artemis, but that went to shit. That went to shit. So, but Artemis wasn't an original member either,
Right. True.
So,
they had a lot of, I think, if you think about it, I'm not sure if there's maybe 2 Leonard Skinner albums when they were really Leonard Skinner that had the same lineup. I don't even know if there is 2 that had the same lineup from album to album.
Well, the first 2 had the same lineup.
I don't believe so.
Yeah. Pronounced and Second Helping is the same lineup. Bob Burns on it. Was the first was Nothing Fancy. That's when Artemis came in. And then Give Me Back My Bullets, Ed King left, and they were a 2-guitar band. Yeah. And one more for the road and
Street. Then they got Steve Gaines.
Gaines, and the background singers. Well, the first 2 albums were the same.
Okay. All right. Well, fuck me. All right. Well, here's hoping for another fucking Titanic. Creed's second 2024 cruise is another sellout.
What cruise?
Creed, the band Creed, the arms wide open motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Could you imagine a boatload full of Creed fans? Please say this shit's going through the Bermuda Triangle. That's how bad rock is now. People get excited about a Creed reunion.
Well, I think it's smart. Creed does the cruise route.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money you make on those cruise things.
Right.
Each cabin's a couple grand. So if they get a bulk of that money, that's they probably make more than that than a reunion tour. Because
no, I get it, but just think about the lamest fucking people, and some of these cruises have cool lineups, but man, for most people, for most fans, these cruises are so unattainable and unaffordable, especially in these days. So what you're going to get by and large is a bunch of lame, rich, white motherfuckers that know the radio songs. You know what I mean? You're already Creed, so you're going to have a lame fucking audience. But I don't know how many of these cruises like, oh, I'd love to go on that. And I look at the prices. I'm like, fuck. I mean, well, even you went on one, but you were given, your ticket and everything.
No. I never got on a cruise for free, but the motor cruise I got on for $600, very cheap.
Yeah.
Somebody had to get rid of the ticket. But the 70 tons of metal, I paid full price, which was almost $1,000 because I'm talking about way back in 2012. It's too much more expensive now. And I absolutely loved both cruises. It was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
But it was Motorhead. And 70 Tons was Venom and Annihilator. It's like good bands, not these garbage cookie cutter Mark Allen Tyler shit he likes. That's the type of shit he likes. Guarantee that guy likes Creed.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck if you end up saying, "Well, I liked only one album." You still liked it.
Yeah. But I don't know. A lot of these things, when I lived in the South, because the South pays fucking horseshit, I could never afford to go on these cruises. Now that I'm in the Pacific Northwest and make great money, still, now I gotta, not only would I have to pay for the fucking cruise, but I would have to fly all the way to fucking Florida for here to go on the motherfucker. So I still can't afford these fucking cruises. The
thing I love about these cruises that leave Miami, we get the pre-show at the casino.
Mm-hmm.
And the pre-show is really made for people that are on the boat, and they only have a limited amount of tickets for people like me. So I always go there early. I saw a lot of good shit. I was blown away by Winger. I'm not a Winger fan, but I saw Winger live. They blew my brains, man. Last in Line, I saw live. I saw a lot of Tom Kiefer. He was really good. Tom Kiefer.
Yeah. I always see a lot of amazing shows that like these pre-cruise shows that happen around you.
I go to all of them. I go to all of them. And
right on.
I understand there's another cruise leaving from here soon. So we're going to get another one of those kick-ass casino shows.
All right. Well, your turn to talk because I got to go to the bathroom.
Well, give me a news story.
Let's see here.
I'll talk about
it. God damn it, I'm gonna shit myself. Pantera pulled out of Aftershock Festival. What do you think about that? All right, bye.
Pantera pulled out of Aftershock camp. I actually did read this. And they apologized. They really wanted to do it, but some problems. And they said they're gonna do the next year's Aftershock Festival. Pantera. I'd go see it. If it came my way and it was reasonably priced, I'd go see it. And I'd walk out the door saying, I just saw Charlie Benante, Zach Wild, Rex, and Phil do Pantera song. I didn't see Pantera. There's no Pantera without, but I'm not one of these that would dismiss it because I look at it as a tribute. If they were to make new music, that would be disgraceful. Because Zach is no dime bag. Shit, Zach ain't no Jakey Lee either. Let me tell you. So, it's a shame they pulled out. Normally I wouldn't be up for these type of reunions, but I'd go see it. But it'd have to be reasonably priced. I'm not going to pay a lot to see Zach Wild be dime bag. I'm just not. It's not, especially from a guy that's seen Cowboys from Hell, Vulgar Display of Power, Far Beyond Driven twice, the Great Southern Trendkill I saw, and Reinventing the Steel I saw twice. I saw Pantera, man. That anything without Dime and Vinny, it's not Pantera, but I'll go see it for shits and giggles. And that's what I think about that, Ian.
Okay, then. All righty. Now, this made me laugh. And I got to admit, I'm happy about this, but it's purely the hater in me. I can't lie. I'm being a little hater bitch. But Striper plans to return to pop metal sound on a few songs on the next studio album. And to me, that's Striper being Striper. I know you've been excited about, I don't think you were too fond of the last album, but before that, they had a string of albums where you felt like they were really heavy in some of the best of Striper's career.
Yeah,
But I
because
guess
because it had no pop metal on it.
yeah, but now they're going to go back to that tried and true honesty shit that people knew and loved in the 80s.
Not a fan.
Yeah. And I'm curious about, I mean, I don't know, maybe that's what happens when your bass player's from Firehouse, or maybe, maybe you are the exception to their usual fans who want more of that. Maybe they got too metal for a lot of those Bible thumping fuckers that go to that shit. What do you think?
Probably. I mean, it was depressing. Listening to the last time, I was like, these guys need to take a break. They're shitting out too many albums too quick. It's like Black Label. Shit out too many albums, you're gonna lose quality. And finally, they lost quality on that last album, and they're jumping right in to do another one. I'm like, take a break. Oh, by the way, I liked Sweet and Lynch's last album.
Oh, I know you hated the second one.
Oh, the second one sucked. The new one, I think, is even better than the first. It's
wow, okay.
I thought it was really good. Why? That was a good ass break they took between that second album and this one. They took some time, man. So yeah, I thought it was pretty badass.
True. Well, here's an interesting thing to ponder on. We say that a lot now with some of these legacy bands that we like. They're putting out too many albums, not taking long enough break. You see the quality suffer. But that being said, in the 70s, you had, a band like Kiss arguably putting out their best music and putting out 2 albums a year. Do you think that's because of youth and momentum and fire? Like, how come these bands, when they were younger, Van Halen album every year, and you had none of these issues? But with these bands, and even Zakk Wylde, by the time he was doing Black Label Society, he was a little long in the tooth. Why do you think in the past you could maintain that quality at a rapid pace, but nowadays you can't?
I just think it's a little too much, a little too soon. I like to Order the Black from Black Label because they took a long break.
Right.
But after that, they haven't taken breaks, and all their albums, to me, they suck. I haven't gotten any of these latest Black Label albums.
But what I'm getting at, though, is why do you think in the past bands could do that and not suffer, where nowadays they do? Do you think as a musician gets older, do you think they run out of ideas or relevancy?
I think the youth was their, saving grace. When they were young, they were hungry, and they released some quality shit, one after the other. But as time goes by, you release such great stuff that you can't top it. And that's the problem that, and I'm hoping, but Striper's already running into do another album, which is a mistake, and even a bigger mistake. They're going to add pop metal to the new album.
Yeah, it's one of those things I'm torn on, because there's the fantasy of what you want, then there's the reality. I'm upset that Quentin Tarantino says this last movie is going to be his last, or his next movie is going to be his last, and he says he doesn't want that to happen to him. He wants to go out on a high note, and I kind of respect that, but at the same time, I'm like, well, fuck, if you ain't making movies, who's going to make fucking good movies anymore? And but yeah, I don't want Quentin Tarantino movies that are just like everything else or not up to that same standard. So it is hard. I want these bands that I love to put out something I like as much as the old shit. but they just don't. And I just don't know. Is it me not being open? Like, people love this new Maiden shit, and I can't stand it. And I don't know, am I the problem or are they the problem? And people are just being cheap, and because I look back at the 80s Maiden. I love that fucking shit. I love it. And I try listening to the new shit, and I just find it to be garbage. But there's other people, this proves they're still relevant, and Shitsitsu's the best thing they've done since the last piece of shit they've done, and
I said a million times, I like the two of the long songs on the album, and that's it. I don't like the rest of it.
Well, one thing I'm going to check out, but I'm not too hopeful for, is Iron Maiden's Bruce Dickinson announced he has a new solo project coming out called the Mandrake Project.
I have more faith in that than Iron Maiden.
I kind of do. Well, here's the thing. I think you did a track by track album battle, something with Chemical Wedding recently. Yeah. And I just think back to, God damn, is Chemical Wedding such a good record?
It is.
And a lot of people always talk about Accident of Birth and Chemical Wedding, because both of them feature Adrian Smith. But I remember when Accident of Birth came out, I didn't get it because I was so put off by the solo shit that had come before it. I didn't even give it a chance. And it came out of the day and age when you couldn't download it, right away. So I'm like, I'm not spending my hard-earned money on that shit, because I think the last Bruce thing I'd heard was that horrible sucking of that balls to Picasso, which I thought was terrible.
Yeah.
But man, Chemical Wedding was so strong. But then he put out another one a few years later, Circle of Tyrants or something.
I think it was Book of Theol, something like that.
No, it's something Tyrants. I know that. But anyway, I kind of gave it a half-ass listen to, but just nothing caught me. It didn't have that heaviness and epicness of Chemical Wedding. So I don't know what this is going to be like, but what deters me from it is, like, Empire of the Clouds was his fucking idea. Okay? That's where his fucking head's at. So if that's where you're at now, if it's going to be more fucking progressive fucking bullshit, I don't give a, and progressive isn't even progressive anymore. It's just boring. It's like being too old to know when to stop, the fucking song and everything in general. But he is working again with Roy Z. And, I think Roy Z, there's certain albums that Roy Z participates in that I love a lot, and some of them kind of like, but he did some great shit with Bruce. He did some great shit with Halford. Because I think the first Halford album, Resurrection, was fucking great. And I like Crucible.
I thought Crucible was awesome.
Yeah, but then he that Made for Metal one with the race car on the front.
That was really good.
Yeah, that shit was terrible. So,
but the Priest album he did was awesome. Angel Retribution.
Oh, Angel, yeah. I'm surprised about that. You and me really like that, and I know a lot of people that don't care for it. Bill Wayne didn't care for it, and I think that's aside from Loch Ness, I think it's a great Priest album, and what a great comeback. And I love the variety that's on that album. A lot of different shit, and which is the trademark of a lot of Priest albums. So yeah, no, Roy Z can do some really good shit. I'll give it a chance. I hope it's good. I don't want to come on here and say it's fucking terrible. When Maiden puts out a new album, I don't want to come on here and say it sucks. I want to say, well, they proved me wrong. This shit's fucking incredible. But we'll see. All right. What else we got here? Demo versions of Winger's biggest hits included on box set of 88 to 93 albums. Okay, so the Atlantic Records ones are putting out the first one, the second one, and Pull.
Well, that last Winter album's awesome. I love it.
And I still need to listen to that. I
love that album, man. It rips. Especially that last song on that album.
I know it's got to be good if you like it.
It's awesome. And I'm not a Winger
guy. New Motley Crue songs are so good. Everybody's just killing it. Let me see. This quote's got to be from fucking Nikki Sixx. Oh, no, John 5 had the balls to say that. Yeah, I believe everybody's killing it. I think Vince Neil's vocals are killing the song. I think Nicki Sixx songwritings are killing the song. And probably the rap in the middle from Tommy Lee is killing the song.
And the bass playing from Bob Rock.
Yeah, exactly. And this is something, well, just like, we talked about that A story, and there's stuff that you can't tell yet. There's something I know about Motley Crue that I think is going to get released probably this week. That's going to blow some people's minds. That I'm privy to. Actually, because I feel like I encourage this, because he goes by the real Nikki Sixx on Facebook, so I'm assuming it's the real Nikki Sixx. But I told him, why in the fuck do you have John 5 in the band? Why are you paying him? You play to a fucking tape anyway. Why are you paying this guy to play air guitar? Just go out there as a fucking 3-piece. That's more money for the 3 of you. You can buy fake heroin and write fake heroin diaries and shit like that. I think I got through to him. So I think from now on, you're going to see Motley Crue as a 3-piece and make more money. Besides, Vince can already play guitar. I mean, you guys seen, Don't Go Away Mad. He's ripping on that shit. Always out there with the guitar. What do you need John 5 for? Save your money.
Which, by the way, today is the 40th anniversary of Shout at the Devil.
Oh, okay.
It was released 40 years old. And for those that are interested to hear what we got to say about Shout at the Devil, will be the next Almost Human Live. We're going to discuss the album Shout at the Devil.
Nice.
This Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Nice. I will be there.
Cool.
So, yeah. So when Motley Crue goes down to the 3rd piece, remember, you heard it here first.
Yeah. All stuff, they're down to a 3-piece, but Vince just ordered a 10-piece.
True story. Here's something that blows my mind. Like, why? Why? First of all, I thought it was stupid when I got the album, but Queensryche, recorded a cover version of Billy Idol's Rebel Yell for their last album, which I thought was a great fucking Queensryche album. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's the best one they did with Todd.
Yeah, by far. And I was like, okay, you guys are doing it, but why is this shit tacked on? I mean, I can see if it's like the Japanese bonus track, everybody does that shit, but now they put out a video for it.
I didn't even watch it because I've heard their version.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch it either because the same reason. I've heard it. Okay, first of all, why would Queensryche do Billy Idol? I like Billy Idol. Why would Queensryche do it? And I heard it, and it's not good. It's not.
I don't even like the original version.
Yeah, I love it, but I never need to hear it again. But why waste? I just don't understand this as the decision process. Okay, you're already fucking playing casinos and opening up for people, so I'm sure the money's not great. Why are you wasting money on this cover? It would have been much better spent. How about make another video for one of the quality songs that is your song? It just seems like a stupid decision all the way around. Who's managing these fucks?
I don't know. Queensryche is a funny thing going on now. They're really part of the festival package or club shows. They're kind of stuck in a rut. You know what I mean? Just like they were with Jeff Tate toward the end. Maybe fans are more, including me. All right, we like the direction Todd's taken more, but it's still at the same level of popularity as when they had Jeff in the band. And as much as I like that last Queensryche album, it still doesn't touch anything from Mindcrime down. I mean, to me, those albums can be bettered, but they can't be better with Todd Delatorre. That's how I feel.
All right. Well, Vivian Campbell says Ronnie James Dio initially had no interest in doing the hearing aid project, which is something I've heard for years.
Well, Ronnie even said it.
Did he?
Ronnie admitted it. Ronnie said it was a brainchild of Vivian Campbell and Vinny and gave them full credit on that home video.
I think it was Vivian and Jimmy.
Yeah, you may be right. Yeah.
But he went on to say that was a very dark time in the Dio band, the Sacred Heart era, because I guess that's when Wendy and Ronnie broke up. So you got that drama. He's going through a divorce and stuff like that. Even though I don't know if they ever actually got divorced or they just split up. I mean, I know she stayed managing them, but they weren't, a couple. But not only that, but this was the time when the other members were supposed to start getting paid more by Ronnie, and that didn't happen. And Vivian was the one with the chutzpah to say, well, fuck it, pay me or I'm gone. So and you can hear that in Sacred Heart. I mean, even though there's something special about it to me because it was my first Dio. But man, you go back and listen to those first two, and then you go to Sacred Heart, you can kind of see like, okay, there's an album where they should have waited a little bit. It sounds like half cooked and rehashing shit. But he said, yeah, around that time, nobody in the band wanted to be around Ronnie. It was just a very miserable, dark time. Which understandable.
Vivian has said that when the first two albums were recorded, they were so enthusiastic they wouldn't leave the studio. Well, when they were recording Sacred Heart, they were like, am I done? Can I go now? They weren't into it.
Yeah.
And it shows. To me, it shows. That album's piss poor. It's a piss poor album. Too much keyboards drowning out Vivian and shit. Vivian gets a bad rap. Well, I guess he deserves it. Because there was a time, when Ronnie was alive and he was with Def Leppard bad-mouthing the Dio music.
Right.
He's then come around and wow, this shit is good. He owns up to it now. He's playing it, but still, there's that. But even before all the bad mouthing, he got fucked over. Come on, let's be honest here.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't. Yeah. He did not quit the Dio band. They fired him because he spoke up saying, "Ronnie, you promised us money on the third album. Where is it?" They fired him because of it.
Yep.
So, when it came to Dio and Campbell, Campbell said many times, I didn't want to leave that band. I loved that band. I didn't want to leave it. But they fired him. And I love Dream Evil, Martin Popoff's favorite.
Yeah.
But come on, man. It's no Coley Diver,
man. Yeah, I love it too, but I think that's the only thing with Craig Goldie that I like. But I just the songwriting to me is just a huge step up from Sacred Heart, and I don't put that on Vivian. I put it on Dio, But there you go. AC/DC's Brian Johnson is all excited and fired up about Power Trip concert, and I haven't got to see it yet. But I saw that you made a video about Phil Rudd. Has there been any new light shed on that to why he's not there? Has anything been officially announced?
It's all speculation, but one website claims, and it sounds like it's real, that Phil's not playing here because of visa problems, because of all the legal.
I have heard that.
Yeah, but then I've also heard people say, "Well, he can't play no more." It's like, get the fuck out of here. Can't. I mean, all that's
well. I would believe either one. I mean, there's so much shit when it comes to Phil Rudd. Yes, there could be the visa issues. And look at his age. And we all know drummers are the first ones to go, man. It's just so physical. Look at all these bands, man. It's the drummer that gets cut out right away. Because that is some physical fucking shit. And you think of Phil Rudd's playing, I think you and I respect it, and a lot of other people respect it, but I mean, there is a hard hitting and preciseness to his drumming that, you're not going to get out of fucking Simon Wright or Chris Slade or anybody else that they got. It never had that Phil Rudd sound. And to me, it's almost like a fucking, like what Marky Ramone said. Try playing this shit. You listen to it, you think it's simple. Try playing this shit song after song. Uh, you know, and I think he doesn't get half the fucking credit he deserves for his drumming. But there's also, and I hope this isn't it, but is he falling off the wagon with the meth shit again? And that's the whole reason with the visa shit is all the shit he got into, and if you combine that with his age and maybe drumming ability, who knows? And who knows if we'll ever get the fucking the full story. But it's a shame.
AC/DC is infamous of not saying anything.
Yeah,
and Van Halen.
Yeah. So it saddens me as an AC/DC fan, and I was so glad that I got to see him with Phil Rudd. I was so happy, when he was back on the Ballbreaker tour. Because I saw him with Chris Slade, and it was a great show. Don't get me wrong, but Ballbreaker was better. That was a better fucking tour, better album too. All right. Will Ted Nugent finally get inducted now that Jan Winter is no longer involved with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I say no.
That would be great if it did.
Yeah. I still think he won't, and he doesn't help his case. Does he deserve it? I think so. Of
course he
I mean, when you look at what's seriously supposed to be the criteria that they set up to get into the Hall of Fame, one of the biggest things is your influence and your impact. And that cannot be underestimated with Ted, regardless of what you think about him and his politics. Not only did he do incredible work, but he inspired so many people. That's why I got no problem. Like, whatever I think of fucking Ace Frehley, and his abilities, he definitely deserves to be in there. Look how many motherfuckers were influenced by him, and that's an important criteria, whether you want to say skills and stuff like that. And Ted has both. Ted has the fucking skills, the influence, and everything else. And it sucks. I'm against him 1,000% on almost everything he says. But that's not what the Hall of Fame's about. It's about his music. And yeah, he should be in there. But I still doubt it, though. I don't think he'll get in.
Well, that's where you're wrong. It's not about that. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is prejudice. It is about what Ted says. That's why he's not in there. He's not. They won't allow him in because of his attitude and his political beliefs. That's why he's not in there.
Right. No, I agree with. But what I'm saying I mean, you can look it up. There's actually like a written criteria of what's supposed to be what gets you in, and he checks all those boxes.
Yeah. No, of course, they're hypocrites.
Right. No, I agree. All right. Well, Adrian Vandenberg says he had nothing to do with Vivian Campbell getting fired from Whitesnake. And interesting thing, because that's something I never heard a lot about, and I was surprised that Whitesnake didn't keep him because, I mean, he was a name at that time, coming from Dio and stuff like that. Like, why wouldn't they keep him? But in recent interviews, they said it had a lot to do with his attitude and his wife at the time, who he's now divorced from. But I guess he brought his wife out on the road. That caused a lot of shit. And then the fact that David Coverdale chose to write the next album with Vandenberg more than Vivian Campbell, wanted to use his ideas. And I could kind of see that, because, I mean, Dio's way more metal than Whitesnake. And I could see Vandenberg's, like, guitar style being much more in vein with what Dave's comfortable with. But at the same time, I think especially back then, Campbell could have done for him what John Sykes did, So I think it was a total mistake. They should have kept him, and that would have kept him out of the band we're going to talk about later, Death Leppard, which would have been nice. But what do you think? Why do you think he was ousted?
Oh, that I don't know. I mean, maybe Steve Vai was on deck, and they thought if we bring Steve Vai in, it'll be more.
I don't think so. I don't think at the time that was. I could be
really,
wrong.
yeah, I don't know why Vivian was kicked out of Whitesnake. I have no idea.
All right. Well, here's something I watched some pro shot video of that I thought was pretty fucking good. And I know I'm biased because I'm friends with I'm Facebook friends. We've talked online, but we haven't met in person. But Forbidden has a new lineup, a new singer. My friend Chris Contos is their drummer, who I think is amazing. But I watched video of them performing at the Alcatraz Festival in Belgium. I thought it was really good, and I was a little hesitant because the dude from the original singer from Forbidden had a very distinct voice. So I'm like, I don't know how this is going to be, and now I think they're down to just the one original guitar player from Forbidden. But I was pretty fucking happy. Did you watch the footage of that at all?
Nope. But I did see the singer sing Chalice of Blood with a local band or somebody.
Yeah.
And it was phenomenal. And
yeah, he's good.
I ended up interviewing Craig on my podcast. And
oh, nice.
Yeah, it's I'm interested. It's it's like another one of these goddamn dude. No Russ and Forbidden, dude.
Yeah, no, it is hard, man. He was a big part of that.
But you get Razor, awesome thrash band from Canada. They just canceled a bunch of shows in Europe because of the same bullshit Flotsam's going through. Get Flotsam and Jetsam, Razor, and Forbidden to tour America. Bet you it'll do better.
I don't think so.
It will. Guaranteed it'll do better.
No, I mean, I would go. I would go, but I think really you need more. You need another linchpin band for that. Even I know you're not a big fan, but you need an Anthrax or an Overkill, and then add those bands. I think you would do much better. I mean, all the bands you just mentioned have our respect, but again, you got to. Unfortunately, you have to think of the masses. I mean fucking Razor, Flotsam, and Forbidden, fucking A, sign me up. But how many of us are out there?
A lot
compared to ones.
A lot to fill clubs, dude. A lot, because Razor is not a band that tours.
Right.
And there's so many people that love Razor that would flock to see that.
Yeah.
Forbidden and Flotsam. I'm not talking like, Testament gig or like a bigger venue. No, I'm talking about club shows. Get these bands, these street bands to play clubs. It'll pack the clubs, trust me. Mostly because of Razor, really.
Yeah. I would love to see it. No, I think it's a great idea. I just I wish there was more people like us. But unfortunately there's more Mark Allen Taylors. No offense, Mark.
Exactly.
But there's more of those that are going to go to shows than people like us. And then I think the reality, even somebody in my case, it's hard for me to make it on a weekday show. But the reality of touring, like some other bands can afford to fly in for these weekend shows. But a lot of the shows I want to see are during the week, and it's like, my son's up at 4 a.m, so he's like, oh, it's during the week, fuck it, and then I'm like, oh, do I want to drive an hour to go see a show by myself? And at my age, a lot of times I don't, even though I really want to see the show. But if it was on a weekend, I'd be there in a fucking heartbeat, So it sucks. It sucks. But when you're younger, you don't care about shit like that, you know. When I was in my 20s, I don't give a fuck what day of the week the show is. I'm there. And I would go to work fucking, you know, hungover and, you know. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Ah, shit. Hold on a second.
All right, we're having technical difficulty. Ian probably can't hear me. Can you hear me now? You can't hear me, you son of a bitch.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
What a bummer. All right, we're gonna have to turn it off and turn it on again.
Well, hold on. Hold on. I'm working on it now. I can hear you because
All right,
just give me a second.
I'm gonna give him a second, everybody. One.
Ah, shit. Okay, I might need more than a second.
Anyway, as I was
All
saying,
right. There we go.
you can hear me?
Yeah.
Right on. Next story.
So, okay. All right. Blah, blah, blah. Anything worth mentioning? Glenn Hughes says he's working on a solo album for 2024. I wonder if maybe he will be with that and not Black Country. I know Black Country is working on a new album, but I really enjoyed his last studio album, that Resonate that came out.
It was awesome.
Yeah, really strong, man. Really strong. So yeah. There's the Kick Show. We mentioned that on your live stream, which I'm sure anybody who's watching this saw that, but I thought that was a really cool way for that band to go out, you know. Band that never made it that big, but goddamn did they have a fucking awesome, you know, bowing out, you know, and the place was packed, sold out. Tony Dio went there, you know. It's amazing. They sold out a fucking amphitheater, man. I think that's fucking killer.
Yep, it is.
Let's see. I think we're about ready to get into the album.
Let's do this.
All right, fuck it. All right. So this one, you know, I kind of threw to you because originally we planned on doing one of our Patreon things this weekend, and that fell through. So then we wanted to do one of the fan paid episodes, but our remaining fan paid episodes are with guests, and we couldn't make that work for this weekend. So I said, you know, let's build on this Judas Priest episode we just did that did very well. People were very excited about it. I'm like, let's do something, you know, let's do one of those easy episodes, a big album that gets everybody talking about, because I want to, you know, build momentum back up. We took a little bit of a break, build this momentum up before, you know, we go into the Patreon and want to take all your fucking money. You know, we're going to give you some big bang episodes to lead into that. And surprisingly, this is one we didn't do. And wow, I'm surprised, but you know, what a major fucking album. And something we both know and love. And I know it like the back of my hand, and I still listened to it like 3 times before we recorded this and enjoyed it. Enjoyed it very much.
This will be, by the way, the very last Def Leppard review, because we're not taking donations anymore.
Yeah,
we already did On Through the Night and High and Dry.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only other Def Leppard album that mattered.
Yeah, unfortunately, we did Hysteria, but we were paid by Mr. T to do that.
Yeah, that's different. But
yeah, this is just a huge album and a huge part of my childhood. I mean, I have very vivid memories of when this came out and the impact it had on me and the foundations that it, you know, laid for, you know, me later becoming a metalhead. But at the time this came out, I didn't even see it as metal. It's what I heard on the radio, because that's the way radio was back then. And it's what I saw, you know, on video shows. I still didn't have MTV, but we had daily video shows. And this was just popular music back then, but laid the foundations for me to get into much heavier shit later. But Ralph, when this came out, you were already a Def Leppard fan, correct? And you'd already seen them?
I was a huge Def Leppard fan, and I saw them open for Ozzy on the High and Dry tour. In 1980, the album I listened to the most was On Through the Night. I was fanatical about that album. High and Dry came out. I got fanatical about that album. And I was very, very looking forward to this album. This album was delayed a lot. I remember it took forever to come. I think it came out like in January of '83, something like
that. Yeah, January '83.
You got to remember, High and Dry was '81, so you expect this in '82 in those years. But I kept reading about it, and I read that Pete Willis was out, and that he played on the record, and blah blah blah. And then when it finally came out, it blew my socks off. Now, one thing about this album was all my Def Leppard buddies, well, not all of them, but a couple of them, hated it.
Really?
You know why they hated it? Because it was so popular. You know, Def Leppard wasn't our band anymore. You know, like D. Snyder had this thing called the Diamond in the Pocket. Diamond in the Pocket is like, when I knew Metallica. You know, before no,
right.
And then they take that diamond out of your pocket and they put it on display where everybody's in front of you looking at the diamond, but you had that shit in your pocket. Same thing with Def Leppard. Now, I know there were a few people, man, that loved Def Leppard, hated Pyromania because it sold millions. You know, it's just I know it's a stupid way of thinking. Oh, it's popular, I can't like it now. You know what I mean? I love this album. And I never get sick of it. Today, I listened to it. I heard it a little bit. And I enjoyed even the songs I'm not even too fond of on this album. I enjoyed it more than I did before. I think this is a great album. To me, this album is like Star Wars meets music.
No, I get that. And, you know, it's kind of funny what you say about people who said, you know, they didn't like it because it was popular. And as stupid as that sounds, I mean, there are things like that when you're younger that can affect your, you know, approval or disapproval. Because like I did the same thing. Like I look back now, you always make fun of me about how I was, if something was on an independent label, I thought it automatically sucked. And that's stupid, like kid shit. You know, now I see it as a badge of honor. I'm more likely to like something that's on an independent label.
Me too.
Know, back then, you know, you've got weird things and weird hangups, but this was because I wasn't into metal at this time. I was into what's on the radio, what I saw on the video shows. There was a channel in the Chicago area that was basically what would become like a CW type channel. And, you know, it's hard, I think, for kids to imagine now, like days when there wasn't like 300 different channels to choose from. But in most markets, you had, you know, your CBS, NBC, ABC, and then, you know, you had independent stations. Like I remember, you know, before there was a Fox network, it was an independent station. But there was another one called Channel 50 in Chicago, and they had this show called Video 50. And I would rush home from school to watch these videos, so excited because we didn't have MTV until 1984. But it was, you know, from a very early age, all about music, but it was what I either saw on the video shows or what I heard on the radio. But when this came out, this was mixed in. This was played on radio stations and video shows. And I didn't look at it as metal or anything like that. It was just music, you know, and I think that was a healthy way to look at music, and probably why my taste is so different, because, you know, nowadays everything's segregated more, and back then it's just, you know, they would show this video and then you'd see fucking Commodores, you know, and you liked it all. But as somebody who never, you know, I wasn't buying magazines, I was like in, you know, second, third grade and shit. Was there a buzz about Def Leppard before? I mean, I know you say this took them into the stratosphere, but were there a lot of people that knew On Through the Night, and probably more so High and Dry? But I mean, was there a buzz in the metal community back then?
Well, there was a buzz in the community, period, because MTV played the fuck out of Bringing On the Heartbreak.
Before Pyromania?
Before Pyromania, they played.
Okay.
They would play Let It Go and High and Dry videos now and then, but Bringing on the Heartbreak was played a lot. And I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe High and Dry went gold before Pyromania came out, or right around the same time. Because, I was big into Def Leppard, but I remember High and Dry. Bringing on the Heartbreak was played to death, and it built like a momentum for Pyromania. And as far as I remember, it was an instant hit. Right when they released Photograph as a video, it was huge. Right away.
Oh, yeah.
Right away. It was huge. And and the only thing stopping that from being number one was Michael Jackson Thriller.
Well, and the funny thing, this is another one of those, both this, and I talked about this before, both this and Quiet Riot Metal Health, I ended up buying because I went to Sears, because you used to go to Sears and you could buy music and shit, just like that's where you used to go to buy tickets, concert tickets and shit. Ticketron. I saw somebody made a Ticketron post the other day. I was like, fuck yeah. I remember camping outside of fucking Sears by the auto department to wait in line to get Who tickets in '89. But anyway, so I went to get Thriller and it was sold out. That's people today that weren't there have no idea what a phenomenon Thriller was. And it sold so many fucking records, Now that you couldn't imagine going to a record store and something being sold out, Well, you could just go on Amazon or whatever, but back then, yeah, shit would happen. So anyway, I ended up getting this because I couldn't get Thriller, but I was more than happy to have it. Because I love these songs that I heard on the radio, that I saw the videos for. Back then I used to take a boombox with me to school, and on recess I could play my boombox, and it was like, I was playing Thriller and this, and Metal Health and Hall and Oates and all this fucking shit. I was a kid, always had the music at fucking recess. But this was huge, and I actually, before, when I really got into metal, I started buying Hit Parader, but even around this time I started buying Circus magazine. And I would cut out, I have some pictures. I had this horrible wallpaper, like kids' wallpaper in my room at the time. But I would cut out all these pictures from Circus magazine and put them up, and it'd be like one picture of Def Leppard and the other one would be fucking John Cougar, just like whatever was popular at the fucking time. But this was just incredible, man, and I still think it sounds good. You can see where they were going to go, but I think it still works on this album, but there's definitely more. Even though the previous album High and Dry was produced by Mutt Lange, Mutt Lange is much more in control on this record, and a lot more input. And also look at the songwriting, because I had to go back and look, because he's involved in almost every song on this album. And I was like, well, was he involved in the songwriting High and Dry? And he wasn't. But, from here, and then you get into Hysteria, much more. But this is much more produced than High and Dry. The vocal trackings on this, all the bells and whistles. And, a friend of ours, Martin Popoff, he doesn't like this album because he says it's too much, too polished, too much of the grit was taken away. And I kind of see what he's saying, but at the same time, it's almost like 80s perfection as far as producing. I think this took metal into the 80s, or hard rock. Really, this is like an 80, there's nothing 70s sounding about this, and shit that came before it. You could still hear that 70s sound in Van Halen and even, to a lesser extent in Quiet Riot and stuff like that. But this is like 80s production, all the bells and whistles, and just killer fucking album. But this is the last gasp. That's for goddamn sure, I think.
Yeah, no, you think. Come on, it's common knowledge, man. Anybody that likes Nine-Armed Def Leppard's a fool.
Through that.
You're fooling yourself if you think it's good. Yeah. And also I remember one hater told me, stupid album cover. It's too cartoony.
Oh, I love this album cover.
I do too. I was like, that's an awesome album cover, man. I don't know. I never suffered that, oh, this band's too big, I can't like them anymore. I never suffered that. I was always on the other hand very proud. You know, it was 1985. The band Loudness was the first prediction I got wrong. I predicted Def Leppard being huge. I predicted Maiden. I predicted Quiet Riot. I predicted all this stuff to be big. And I was always right on the money. Loudness came. And Thunder in the East, I was like, this is going to be the next big thing. That shit I don't think even went gold.
Yeah. But, I was that way with Rock's Gang. And pan out.
But you did get Scritti Politti right.
That's right. But another thing I love about this, and you talk about the album cover. I know you'll know this, and people our age, but remember when you used to go to like the fair? It was a big thing when the fair carnival would come to town, and they'd have all those games where you throw a dart at a balloon and you'd get those little mirrors. Well, I had the mirror of Pyromania, and got it as a kid. Probably 9-10 years old. And I always kept it. I always loved it. And then, of course, when I became a misspent youth, that was my Coke mirror for years. And when it cracked, I was heartbroken because where do you replace that? I don't think, the funny thing is now I'm going to be going to fairs with my grandchildren, but I don't think I'm going to find a Pyromania mirror that I could get. Plus I'm too old to do Coke. But, just good fucking memories, man. Real good fucking memories.
It's a fucking awesome album. It really is. I listened to this album. Okay, let's compare. High and Dry is better. All right, we got that out of the way. Pyromania is more poppy, more polished, but it still rocks. And rocks fucking hard, does it too. And there's some epic songs on this that, I just think this fucking album's amazing.
Now, this is something when I was reading, Martin's critique of this, I got what he said because, I do prefer the actual sound of High and Dry. And this is one I would love to see maybe a little bit stripped back, like a remix version of it, but I don't think you'll ever fucking see it. I don't think you'll ever see it because the amount of people like you and me that would like to hear like these songs, but with more High and Dry production, are very minuscule compared to the people who just want to hear fucking Animal and Pour Some Sugar on Me and Do You Want to Get Rocked? There's more, no offense, Johnny Vogans out there than us, that love that shit in that style. And but I think no matter what you think of the production, the songs shine through on this, and it's some of the best, catchiest, pop metal that there is. But why don't you take the first track, Ralph? The opening track.
Yeah, Rock Till You Drop. Now, well, you were saying earlier how Mutt Lange like changed shit. Yeah, this song, it's on this Record Store Day live album I bought.
Right.
On the High and Dry tour, a song called Medicine Man. That was this song.
Oh, okay.
Medicine Man was Rock Till You Drop. And it starts pretty much the same, but then it goes into, it still has the same riff and everything, but you hear a lot of new elements on this version where I believe Mutt Lange probably brought it in. I love it, man. It's a great opener. It's I love Joe's gritty voice. I love the vibe. I love the lyrics. I love how it ends with "Too loud, man, too loud." It's an awesome, best song to open this album with. Love Rock Till You Drop. Awesome tune.
Well, I love it too. And that intro, the way this album starts out, da-da, into that. Dan, dun, dan, dun, dan, dun, dan, you know, oh my God. Now I did read this was one, it did get totally reworked once Phil Collin came in. Because, for those of you who don't know, who aren't the uber nerds that we are, Pete Willis is on every track on this album, in rhythm tracks and stuff like that. Phil Cullen was brought in and, did new guitar solos and stuff like that. But I believe this is the only song that was like drastically reworked, and did have, input. I think Mutt Lang, let me check real quick. I think he has a co-write on every track on this. Yeah. Yep, every fucking track. But no, it's great. I love it. And it sounds great to my ears. The only thing that I don't know if it aged well, and I don't know if it ever hit me until today, but rock till you drop. That's just kind of that's some stupid shit. Like, I love the song, I love the music and and the buildup and everything, but the rock never stop. That fucking D. Snyder makes fun of that shit. Helix chuckled at that shit. But it's you can't take it away. It is of the time and the innocence of it. I don't think they would ever write anything like that now, for good and bad reasons. But what a way to fucking open up the album. Great fucking first track. And then you go into the amazing Photograph. That riff. I mean, the minute you hear that riff and those drums kick in, just fucking killer. The video was great. I mean, it was the right song, the right band at the right time. And you kind of, again, you had to be there to realize the impact of this and how it brought this type of music to people who would normally never hear fucking metal, and again, that was good and bad, but just amazing. And something that probably a lot of people don't know is, there is keyboards on this record. Tony Kaye from Yes played some keyboards on here, uncredited, but probably the biggest keyboard contributor on this album, even though he was credited on the album as Booker T. Boffin, but is actually Thomas Dolby. Yes, Blinded Me was signed. Thomas Dolby played on so much shit in the early 80s that you'd have no fucking idea. But he was like the go-to guy in the early 80s when you needed, and that's really where he got his start. And then he put out his own album, that Blinded Me with Science shit. But I mean, he played, rock bands, pop bands, new wave bands, all this shit. He was the go-to guy if you needed any synthesizers. And yeah, that's Thomas Dolby on this fucking song. Amazing fucking track. Love Photograph. What do you think?
I never, ever, ever will get sick of this song. I think it's the perfect pop song. If it comes on my iPod shuffle, I ain't clicking next. I just love everything about it. It's sugary, and it's drum machines. I don't believe Rick Allen played at all on this album, to tell you the truth. And yeah, I love it. Love Joe's voice.
I can't remember. Now, there is a guy, John Congus, did the Fairlight CMI programming. And the Fairlight was very much used in, the early 80s. And a lot of that, like, 80s drum sound you hear is this. But I didn't know. Yeah, now that you say that, I think that might be true. That he didn't play in this.
It is true because there's a VH1 special on Pyromania where they discuss it.
Yeah.
I can't recall if it was the whole album. I believe they talked about the whole album. But yeah. I know for sure that they use drum machines on this. But it's awesome. It's an awesome song. I love Joe's scream at the end. The video's stupid though.
I love it.
Joe Elliott trying to do a Daily Raw split.
I I remember after this, around this time, he'd wear like is it in this video where he's got the Japanese flag shirt?
No, he's got the Union Jack on this show.
Okay, was it? There was
The Japanese one is fooling, I think.
Yeah, but I remember like I had that picture up on my wall, and I wanted that shirt, and the video was so big, they started selling that. You could order it out of the Sears catalog. There's another thing to take people back when you used to get shit out of the Sears catalog. And my grandmother refused. She's like, fuck no. Your grandfather fought in the Pacific during World War II. I'll be damned if you're wearing a Japanese flag shirt. And I didn't know. I just wanted to look like the guy from Death Leppard, instead of Vince Neil now.
I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it, but at the time, that Union Jack shirt was sold at Def Leppard concerts, and everybody was buying them. I didn't buy one. I don't know why I didn't. But I know I knew so many people with that shirt, and going to the Pyromania concert, so many people wearing that shirt. It was a fashion statement. That and the Union Jack shorts. I can't quite remember if they sold the Union Jack shorts at the show, but they definitely sold the shirts, and it was a hot seller, man. It was huge.
Oh, that's another thing I wanted to ask you. By the time they toured this album, were they headliners for Pyromania?
Well, they were opening act for Billy Squier, actually. And I believe 38 Special as well. But by the time they came down here, they were headliners for the time with Crocus on the Headhunter tour, which was awesome.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, that was a show and a half. And man, it was a sold out show. They were huge. Def Leppard by the time they came down here. But yeah, they started the tour opening for Billy Squier, which I remember Joe Elliott would dedicate Billy Got a Gun to Billy Squier every time they'd play it. And 38 Special, I'm almost positive they were an opening act for 38 Special too at the time. But then they just started selling way more than both those acts combined.
Yeah. So oh fuck yeah.
It was logical that they would headline. So next we go into Stage Fright, right?
Yeah.
What a ripping tune! This is like, oh man, this could have fit on a High and Dry.
Oh, definitely.
Opening track for the Hysteria tour. This is the song that I was like, probably my favorite when it was a brand new album.
Mm-hmm.
I love it's just a heavy metal. This is heavy metal, Yeah, you can say Rock Till You Drop was a little more hard rock and pop metal. This was a heavy metal track. Probably the most metal track on this album. Love Stage Fright.
I love it too. This could be my favorite song on the album. And knowing that this was the opener would fit, I could just hear him like, welcome to my show, and the shit start up. This is so, when they were good, they were so damn good. So damn good. After, getting ready for this, I listened to this 3 times in a row, and then I went to High and Dry, and I was like, God damn, I love these first 3 albums so fucking much, It's sad what they became, but it'll never take away what I think about these. And it's the same way, when I shit on Kiss, in my opinion of them nowadays, I still feel the magic when I listen to those old albums, maybe not the solo albums, but the other shit. There's nothing that can be done that can take away the impact of these. And Stage Fright is just, I don't know, it just hits on every level. I love that it's a harder track, and man, it's my fucking Def Leppard. Love it. All right. Well, next we'll go into the amazing power ballad. Amazing. Too Late for Love. It's a perfect power ballad with actual power. And I love that. It doesn't sound like, what's that fucking Firehouse shit? You know what I mean? It's not one of those power ballads. This is when something, power ballads meant something. And there's a couple on it. There's another one that I think is borderline power ballad. but this is straight up, power ballad like they did with, Bringing on the Heartache and stuff. Slower songs, with balls though, you know. By the end of the 80s, they were straight up ballads. There was no power to them. They were just fucking little pussy songs, but this had balls and meat, and it sticks around, and it's amazing track. What do you think?
Love it. Love it. I do not like the I think if they would have taken the vocals out, it would have been great because I like the riff that's going on under it. It's a minor gripe. I really do love it. I remember back in the 80s that the line, the hero and the clown waiting for the cue, drove me nuts because it entered my head and I couldn't figure out what song it was. And I would go up to people going, the hero and the clown. What song is that? And then finally I heard this song. And I was like, there it is. Love it though. I do love it. Mine all right. My least favorite on side one, but still not a bad song. Just don't like the, that do without that. Next song I freaking love. Die Hard the Hunter. Song about the hunter, deer hunter. Wow, this harkens back to the first album with Where the Walls Come Tumbling Down type epic type song where, I love it, little helicopter, beginning mellow type, and then it gets really heavy. Joe screaming his ass off. And the guitar work in the middle. You can tell Pete Willis wrote that shit. You can tell a mile away that's Phil Collins playing Pete Willis because it has that same kind of structure you hear in Overture off the first album, or When the Walls Come Tumbling Down, or Satellite, Enter the Master. It has that the guitar work early Def Leppard had. You don't hear a lot of it on this album, except this song, but it brings it back, and it's a long song. It's epic. It was not played on the Pyromania tour. It was played on Hysteria. They did play it that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they didn't play this on. And no, what's even more wilder, the song they never played off this album is my favorite song off the album that we haven't gotten to yet. But anyway, love it. What do you think of Die Hard the Hunter?
Total album track. Die Hard the Hunter. This is some fucking Man of War shit. My least favorite, but I still like it. I don't know how else to describe it. It doesn't bother me, doesn't offend me, but it just simply doesn't move me the way the rest of the album does. I think it's crazy that they played this on the Hysteria tour. I've never seen Def Leppard and never will, unfortunately.
Yeah, you don't have to. You missed out.
Yeah.
Because I mean, all you're going to see is Hysteria songs and the hits off this album.
Right. And I mean, how many times have you seen them? Maybe 3 or 4?
I saw them 2, 3, 4 times.
Yeah.
And
but
I did see later. I saw Def Leppard because of Styx, like maybe 2 years ago. That was the show I was at. Remember the story? I was at that show with this chick, and Stephen Kerr saw me with a girl and didn't come up.
Oh, yeah.
That was that show.
But I mean, I imagine though on this tour though, they had to be firing on all cylinders. It had to be an amazing show.
Oh yeah. Believe it or not, High and Dry was even more crazy because they were super hungry running around that stage, but they were still fucking awesome. I'll never forget when they played Wasted. Joe got up on the scaffolding all the way on top and started like shining the light on the audience. That was cool as shit seeing that. Yeah, man, it was awesome. It was amazing.
Oh, awesome. Well, again, I don't hate Die Hard, but it is my least favorite track. But God, I wish they would play this live. That would be helpful now.
Yeah.
But side 2 kicks off with fucking Foolin'. Oh my God. Now this is the one too, could kind of call it a power ballad. I don't know. It, to me, it just rocks so hard, but it is kind of a slower tempo. But this, it's quintessential Def Leppard. This is the sound of Def Leppard to me. Real, I mean, any Def Leppard that I care about. I love it. Another one I don't get sick of. It's funny. There's so much shit from this era that I never want to hear again. But I've heard this album a gazillion fucking. I mean, I listened to so much in my fucking youth, and even listening to it today, there's nothing really where I'm like, oh, I got to skip that. Where like, yeah, I mean, the Pyromania, I mean, a Hysteria shit. Like, oh no, not that that would ever come in on my playlist, but if it was on the radio, I'd be like, no. No, I mean, unless it was women, but other than that, it'd be an instant fucking skip. But this shit that's been pounded in my head probably just as much as a fucking Stairway or fucking, Hotel California, I'm not burned out on it. I still dig it. What do you think of Foolin'?
How long has it been since you heard the song Woman?
Probably since we did the review, the review of Hysteria.
Listen to it now. It sucks.
You don't like it?
Nah. Yeah, compared to the rest of the album.
Man, I remember when that came out, I thought, because that was the first single off Hysteria and it did shit. And a lot of people didn't like it. I always loved it. And then, the album blew up months later, but I like Women.
I like the B-side more, Tear It Down. That was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Foolin'. Yeah, love it. Love it. Great, great song. By the time they released this video, they were super humongous. This was the third video from the album they released. I love it, man. Very primitive video with Joe tied up. And what can I say? I love it. I love the little acoustic intro. I like when it gets a little heavy. And musically, it's pretty awesome, man. Pretty awesome tune. Love it. Next one, Rock of Ages.
Yes, sir.
If there's anyone that I would be like, yeah, you know what? I've heard this one enough. It's not that I hate it, but it's one of those that, unlike Photograph of Foolin', it's like, nah, this ain't a go-to. But one thing I do remember so specific about Rock of Ages, because it was the second single they released, and it was all over the radio back then. And I remember, man, this is wild to think about this today. But in 1983, hearing on the radio a song that would say rock and roll was awesome.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of songs that would say rock and roll in 83. And it was awesome hearing rock and roll coming out of the airwaves, I don't hate it. Don't get me wrong. It's just kind of like there's a burnout factor to this one to me. But, the exaggerated sword that Joe Elliott had. All three of these videos are awesome in a bad way.
Oh, yeah.
But, I got to say, the one complaint I have about this song and every song on the album is Phil Collins. I don't think he plays that tasty. That's the only thing. I mean, I don't think they're terrible solos, but they're not Pete Willis or Steve.
No.
And they gave more solos to Phil than Steve Smith. It's fucking ridiculous.
Steve Clark, yeah.
Steve Clark, I'm sorry. But anyway, yeah, I dig Rock of Ages, but I'm burnt out on it.
Again, still not burnt out on it. Still enjoy all three times I listened to it today. Again, pure Def Leppard. This is their sound, take it or leave it. But the funny thing was, like, listen to this, like particularly this song, as much as I enjoyed it, it really made me want to go back and listen to High and Dry, which I started doing right before we started recording. And because to me, that's their best album. I mean, this one, it's catchy. I see why it's as big, but man, just that sound. As much as I like On Through the Night, I think the songwriting, improved leaps and bounds on High and Dry. and they'll never better that. But I mean, this is like, if you're gonna have a second, this is a damn fine second. But I absolutely love Rock of Ages. Still not sick. But then we go into Coming Under Fire, and oh man, I love this fucking song. Love this fucking song, and I'm like, God, why can't they do this anymore? And then I think about it. Oh yeah, computer drums, no Pete Willis, no Steve Clark, and it all kinds of makes sense. Plus, that's not where the money's at. The money's in them doing fucking ballads and fucking country songs or whatever they fucking do now. That fat ass soccer moms that go pay to see them live now. That's the kind of shit they like. They wouldn't like anything like this. But this to me is why I'm such a huge fan. Is tracks like this. Amazing. One of my favorites on the album. What do you think?
Definitely my favorite. And as far
Nice.
as I know, never played live.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a shame. It's like the lyrics are so awesome and the changes. You got me. I'm coming.
My back's to the wall.
Bed of roses ain't no better.
No bad at all.
Fucking awesome. Love it. Love every little thing about this song. Definitely up there in my top 5 all-time Def Leppard songs. Coming Under Fire. It's insane how they never really highlighted this song. And to me, it's the best song on the album. And I felt this way for years, decades now. Coming Under Fire is a masterpiece, the masterpiece on this album. Absolutely love it. Then we got Action Not Words, right?
Yes.
Now, here's a song I always thought was the filler. It's not as good as the rest of the album. And I still feel that way. But I listened to it today because I haven't heard, this song in a while. And goddamn, it was fun. Yeah, I still think the other songs are better, but it's a fun tune. I love the verses, Joe. It's like a feel-good tune. And but yeah, never played live either. So not back then. They might have done it later. But
I doubt it.
yeah, it's a song not very talked about. I can kind of understand why, but listening to it today with kind of fresh ears, it's like, God damn, this is a feel-good tune. It's a happy song. It's cool. I dig it. What do you think?
No, I fucking love it. And I should have looked it up, but I was just like, I prefer with what it is in my head. What the fuck it sounds like they're saying, fuck me. Da-na-na-na-na.
Yeah.
Fuck me. Da-na-na-na.
Yeah, I can't remember what he's saying now.
Give me action.
I think what he's saying is shock me, I think.
Okay. Well, it's cooler in my fucking 9-year-old head if it's fuck me. But I dig it. Again, an album track. Nobody talks about this shit, but man, could you imagine if you go see them live and they pull something like this out? Like what a fucking treat that would be, over something like fucking, Hysteria, or Do You Want to Get Rocked, or any of that fucking tripe that fucking chicks love. I don't know. This because this is what I fell in love with. This is why I love this band. Is shit like this, not that other crap. Horrible.
You want to get rocked, Jesus.
Dude, I remember seeing that, and the funny thing, I was still very young when that came out. I think Adrenalize was like 91.
Yeah, it was right when Nirvana came out.
Yeah. So I was 17 in 91. And I knew it was fucking horrible. That horrible video. Remember the video game type video? But do you want to get right? It was so corny then. Like, and if a 17-year-old kid's saying, no, this is too, it's bad, and and then you had, the passing of Steve Clark, which what a sad thing. I was looking it up today. I was like, how old was he? 30 fucking years old when he died. And I'm thinking to myself, like now at my age, somebody who's 30 is a fucking kid to me. It's like you got your whole life ahead of you. You're 30.
Yeah, we keep calling Wolfgang a kid. He's like 30.
Yeah. Like, oh, you're a child. But sad passing. But man, you look at like what happened to this band, and then it all makes sense. Right after they kicked out Pete Willis, he he didn't really get into music anymore. He did that Goggamog thing with Paul Di'Anno and little, but really he put all his time and energy into voodoo. And the jinx on this fucking band. Holy shit. Oh my God. But I mean, to me, that's what really made this band was, Pete Willis and Steve Clark and that guitar sound.
To get off the subject for 1 second, kinda. Speaking of hexes and curses, remember Dave Mustaine always talked about, oh, there was this girl I wanted. He did a hex on her. He's in bed with her. There was another guy, he put a hex on another guy, had a car accident and became crippled.
Yeah.
You never hear Dave Mustaine say, I put a hex on Metallica and Cliff Burton died. You know for sure he put a hex on Metallica. I don't believe in hexes and all that, so I'm not saying his hex killed Cliff Burton, but dude, that's one thing. He put a hex on Metallica. And when Cliff died, he said, I'm not going to talk about putting a hex on Metallica.
Well, that's where the meme came from, because when that happened, the first thing out of Mustaine's mouth is, it should have been Lars.
Yeah.
It should have been Lars. Yeah, if that shit worked, they wouldn't have became the biggest band in the fucking world. But yeah, I mean, the Death Leppard curse. I mean, the sad. I mean, we all make fun of Nine-Armed Death Leppard, and it's a terrible and tragic thing that happened. To what's his name?
Rick Allen.
Rick Allen. Yeah, terrible thing that happened. Sucks. Somebody so young. I mean, because he's the youngest guy in the band.
Yeah,
I think he was in his early 20s when that happened. And the fact that he persevered, man, he relearned how to play drums. And even though I don't like the sound of it, I mean, honestly, as many jokes as we make, the guy has all my fucking respect. I mean, he beat his wife with one arm. That's tenacity. That's like, you ain't gonna get me down. He do the whole, she's watching the nub, and then he comes across and fucking knocks her fucking teeth out. That's awesome.
I hate when people with one arm do that shit. That nub trick pisses me off.
But and then Steve Clark, and then just, I don't know, they went away without going away. It's like they went away and got bigger at the same time. Like nobody buys their new records, but yet somehow they're always on fucking tour, and you never saw Def Leppard playing clubs. They always find a way. They don't care if they got to go out with fucking Billy Ray Cyrus or fucking Styx or fucking whoever. They always find a way to stay in fucking amphitheaters and then now stadiums, which boggles my mind. But the masses are fucking idiots. That's the other thing I can attribute it to.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. Whoever likes Def Leppard now, like their new music, you can't possibly be a music fan.
Yeah, and I don't know if anybody even does like their new music.
Yeah.
I've never met anybody. I know people who go see them live, but I have yet to hear somebody say, I really like the new Def Leppard.
I heard one idiot say it, yeah.
All right. We've talked about Mark enough during this show.
Yeah.
Stop dragging his name.
That's the idiot I'm talking about, by the way. He loves.
Are you serious?
Yes, he loves that new Def Leppard stuff.
Oh God. All right. Well, then we'll go into the last track, which is Billy's Got a Gun. This is one that grew on me over the years. I was never into this one when I was younger. For whatever reason, I would always stop it after Action Not Words. But listening to it now, I really fucking dig it, and definitely my least favorite would be Die Hard, which I heard 1,000 times more. I don't know why this never got me before, but I love it now. And the funny thing I learned today doing research is there's a name for the ending of this song. When it stops and it's all that weird noise and shit.
Yeah.
Like keyboard shit. It's called The March of the Wooden Zombies.
That makes no sense.
Makes no fucking sense. The whole thing makes no fucking sense. The wow, wow. Like, whatever. I can't even believe it made the final cut, let alone it has a fucking name. But the actual song, I dig it now, man. And, cool to see that it used to be on the set list. How did this translate live? I imagine it'd go over pretty good.
It went over well. They didn't do it in Hysteria. They did that Pyromania tour.
Right.
And it was great. I thought it was great. This was always kind of like, I like the song, but it's always been low.
Right.
Like, in action. I thought the last two songs were kind of like, it wasn't as strong as everything before it. But yeah, they played it live. I remember they played it on that tour, and it was played well. I like the song. I can't say I love it, but I like it. It's good. I like the riffs in it, and it's a very passable tune. So there you go. That's what we think of Pyromania. And fuck those wooden zombies. That shit sucked. I don't like. It's like Sergeant Pepper. I hate that thing at the end of Sergeant Pepper. This is kind of like the same thing, an annoying thing to end the album.
All right. Well, this was recorded. You talked about how this was, supposed to come out. There's all kinds of shit. It was recorded through January to November of 1982.
Look at that.
Yeah. Released January 20th, 1983. Produced, of course, by John Mutt Lange. And there's also a story, which could be true, could be a fabrication. But Joe Elliott talks about meeting Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy, and they were at the same record label or whatever. And Phil said, he goes, I just heard your album. He goes, and I'm breaking up Thin Lizzy because I can't compete with this.
I heard that same story too. I don't think Joe is making that up.
I don't think he is either. I really don't. And I think that was probably, I mean, if you look at Phil back at that time, look how long he had been grinding it out with Thin Lizzy. And really, I mean, while they have our love and respect now, they never made it to that next level. He's grinding it out. He's, constant lineup changes, and he's fighting heroin addiction. And then he hears this, which really was a new sound. This was a changing of the guard, kind of like how Nirvana was. I mean, it really, really was. So I could see.
There was a lot of bands that copied Pyromania.
Oh, yeah.
A lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, this is, it's a diamond record. It sold over 10 million copies, which I'm sure it's even higher than that. But that's the highest thing they achieve now is a diamond rating. But again, made it as high as number 2, only kept off from Thriller. But look at the list of albums, 1984, all this other shit, that's one thing always gets me when with these Hagar fucking tards. Oh, they all went to number 1. And I'm like, yeah, what were they up against? Fucking Taylor Dane and Robert Palmer. Look at what fucking 84 was against, Still, if you weren't there, you don't realize the juggernaut that Thriller was. And all these, look at this. Both Pyromania and 1984 sold well over 10 million copies and still didn't make it to number 1 because of Thriller. What else can I fucking tell you?
The first Van Halen album didn't go number 1, over 10 million copies.
Hold on. Keep talking.
All right. You hear me?
Yeah, I'm in between. I don't know what's going on. The iPods keep cutting out. I'm getting them back on. Now I can hear you.
You hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love it. Love the album. Huge Def Leppard fan. I predicted their success in 1980. And, I was horrified 5 years later with Hysteria. First listen, I wanted to kill somebody. I was so depressed. And I listened to it over and over again because they were coming, so I did become well-versed in Hysteria before I saw them. And it was not a bad show until they played Hysteria song, especially God of War. Oh, that painful. to watch.
Horrible song.
Watch that live was painful. Tesla Mechanical Residence Tour opened. It was a good show, man. But yeah, I mean, I left that show going, you know what, man? Fuck Pyromania. I never listened to Pyromania since till we had to do that review. But
Hysteria, you mean?
Hysteria. There was a little while there. I did listen to it a lot because I wanted to become well versed on it when I saw it live. And I remember going, man, these songs ain't doing nothing for me. And mind you, this is when Def Leppard Hysteria didn't explode yet. You know, Hysteria was a huge bomb when I saw them live. And it wasn't until Pour Some Sugar on Me it exploded. But that was many, many months after I saw it live. So there you go.
All right. Well, now it's time to go into pick of the week. You got a pick of the week?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, then do the song.
It's the only time that you can say Ian before our pick of the week.
All right. Well, I struggled this week, actually. I was like, oh, what the fuck am I going to pick? I'm hungover from doing fucking 2 shows in 2 days and going on my 3rd day here, and then I got football tomorrow. So it's kind of a lazy pick, but in a way, I think it's an important pick, and I'm going with High and Dry.
Yeah.
Because there may be some people out, you know, some listeners to our show who didn't grow up with Def Leppard. Okay, so you know the Pour Some Sugar on Me stuff, and you're like, no, that's not my bag. You know, and you've never given it a chance. And especially if you're a metalhead, I think High and Dry, even more so than Pyromania, would be a great place to start and give you a different appreciation, you know, and you get like what we're saying about how great they used to be. And I know that could be hard for me, like some bands, like, you know, if I always grew up hating them or thinking they suck, like, yeah, why do I want to go give it a chance? I'm telling you, I'm pleading you, check out High and Dry. I mean, it's just a great early 80s hard rock record. Great songwriting, great playing, and totally different than what, you know, Def Leppard is now. So High and Dry, my pick of the week.
Hell yeah. All right, I got one. It's the brand new. See if I can get it on screen. Brand new Raven album called All Hell's Breaking Loose. It is an album where they do that Kiss song 12 times in a row. All Hell's Breaking Loose. Featuring Vinnie Vincent. No, it's actually a really good album. I was a big fan of the last one, Rock City. I thought, Metal City. I think this one's even better.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's a smoking tune. I love the title track, and Surf the Tsunami is awesome, and Invasion, Go for the Gold, The Far Side. New Raven, all Hell's Breaking Loose is my pick of the week.
All right, yeah, and I encourage anybody. You know, I got to witness Raven with Ralph at the first Rockin' Pod. Amazing live band. Really good shit, man. Check them out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now it's time to go into fan of the week. And I was thinking too, like, oh, okay, who's fan of the week? And I started thinking about like missing in action fans. You know, so somebody we ain't seen in a while that we miss. And I'm sending out a message, TikTok man.
Yeah, you know what? Right when you said that, that was the person that entered my mind. TikTok.
Where is TikTok man?
I think TikTok man's the only person I miss.
TikTok man, holy shit. Such a huge part of what was a Rockin' Pod 1 and 3 he was at. And man, hanging out with this motherfucker. And then our legendary fucking Hot in the Shade episode. Oh my God, was he so good? He's one of those who translate it into like, was funny as fuck on, well, actually he wasn't on Facebook really that much.
Yeah, he is. I mean, but he doesn't post there much.
Yeah. Yeah. But oh my God, he was so good on the fucking show and hanging out with the guy in person. He's a lunatic, man, in the best possible way. And miss a motherfucker. We got to get TikTok on, and we've got to pick an album that he fucking hates, because there's nothing funnier. You think we're funny when we hate something? There's nothing like TikTok man unleashing, you know, giving it that full mass hole treatment. that only he can do. So
I'm telling you, dude, our greatest Kiss episode is with TikTok, man. That the Shade episode when he goes off on Tito, that's some gold, man.
oh my God.
And then he ended up liking one of the crappy songs on the album. Funnier. He actually liked one of those shit songs. Forgot which one, but
and the funniest thing was, I think the last time I talked to TikTok was when you and I got back together, and he just sent me a thing on Facebook Messenger. He says it's about time you two fucking homos made up, and it was just so TikTok. It's like, and I get that. Trust me, I get, if you're not that much of a Facebook person and stuff, but reach out to either me or Ralph, man. And we gotta plan something with TikTok.
Yeah,
man.
TikTok. If you're seeing this, dude, definitely get a hold of us because I don't know how to get a hold of him.
Yeah,
he's still on Facebook. I'll go check.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to check too, but yeah, we need the return of TikTok.
We do. Dude, if any past guest I want back, there's only two past guests I want back: TikTok man and Jeff Beers.
Yeah, man.
I want Jeff Beers back. We got to get Jeff Beers on one of our live shows.
I want to dig around and find something that Jeff Beers actually doesn't like. I think that would be incredible.
Oh, he didn't like Sammy Hagar.
No, man. It's a no.
No, he's like, it's not my thing. It's like he's almost apologizing for not liking it.
I love it. Love you, Jeff. Love you, TikTok.
Yeah, we got to get Jeff Beers back on the show.
Yeah, both of you get a hold of us. All right. Well, hopefully I'm back off my Facebook ban tomorrow so I can post this episode. It'll be up on Podbean and on the YouTube page as well. And I implore all of you, let's make that YouTube channel grow. Make sure you subscribe, and not only subscribe, but hit that little bell that says I get all the notifications. Trust me, we don't do enough videos for you to be bothered by it. But and also sending this out to people listening. If there is anybody out there that can kind of help us with, some of these technical difficulties we're having, please hit me up on Facebook. And seriously, it doesn't matter how much of a fan you are. I need somebody who really knows this kind of shit. So if you enjoy that, come back next week. Next week it's the return of the dreaded fan paid episodes. Woo-hoo-hoo. But we have an amazing guest.
Yes.
From Decibel Geek, Aaron Camaro is going to be here with us. And that's going to be, it's going to be an amazing episode. Check that out next week on the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast.
Smack 'em a gob.
See you.